The cafe was unusually quiet that afternoon, the low hum of chatter blending with the soft hiss of the espresso machine. Elise Tan sat alone by the window, her laptop open but untouched, her coffee gone cold hours ago. Outside, the city moved with its usual rhythm, rushed footsteps, car horns, laughter spilling from shop doors, but inside her world, there was only silence. Her phone buzzed again. Another email, another reminder, another crisis that needed her attention. She ignored it. For once, she didn't have the strength to care. Being the youngest female CEO of a major firm sounded glamorous in the papers, but in reality, it meant long nights, missed birthdays, and an emptiness that success could never fill. She stared blankly at her reflection in the glass. Perfect hair, perfect suit, perfectly alone. That was when she heard it, a tiny, hesitant voice. Excuse me, miss. Elise blinked, looking down from her thoughts. Standing beside her table was a little girl, no older than 6, clutching a threadbare teddy bear to her chest. Her shoes were scuffed, her hair slightly tangled, and her eyes, large and brown, held both fear and hope. Yes, Elise asked, her tone sharper than she intended. The girl fidgeted, looking at the floor, then back at her. Can you be my mom for just one day? For a moment, the world stopped. The question didn't make sense. Elise froze, staring as if she hadn't heard correctly. Around them, the cafe's sounds faded, replaced by the pounding of her heart. What did you say? She asked softly. The girl swallowed hard, her small fingers gripping the teddy's paw. I don't have a mommy. But today's my school's family day, and everyone has someone coming. I thought maybe you could be mine. Just for today. Elise's throat tightened. She wanted to say no, to stand up and leave, to protect herself from whatever strange emotion was stirring in her chest. But then the girl looked up, and Elise saw the loneliness in her eyes, the same emptiness she'd carried for years. Without realizing it, Elise's hand reached out across the table. What's your name, sweetheart? She whispered. The little girl's face brightened. Lily. Elise managed a small, trembling smile. Well, Lily, maybe just for today. The city park was bathed in soft afternoon light, the golden sun filtering through rustling trees. Elise walked slowly beside Lily, who skipped along the path, humming a tune and swinging her teddy bear by the arm. For the first time in years, Elise wasn't thinking about her phone, her meetings, or the endless deadlines waiting on her desk. Instead, she was watching this small, bright child twirl beneath the sunlight as if the world belonged entirely to her. Do you like ice cream? Lily asked, eyes shining. Elise smiled faintly. Who doesn't? Then we have to get some. Moms always buy ice cream, the girl declared, tugging her hand. Elise followed, half amused, half dazed by how easily this little stranger had taken her hand, as if it had always belonged there. They sat on a bench near the fountain, each holding a cone. Lily's was strawberry, already dripping down her fingers. Elise's was vanilla, untouched. The little girl looked at her with mock seriousness. You're supposed to eat it, Mommy. It's the rules. Elise froze at the word, Mommy. It slipped out of Lily's mouth so naturally, so trustingly, that Elise almost forgot it wasn't real. Her chest tightened, and she forced a laugh, finally taking a bite. The sweetness felt strange, foreign, almost painful. After ice cream came a carousel ride. Lily giggled as the painted horses went up and down, her small hands gripping the pole, her laughter ringing through the air. Elise stood nearby, watching, something fragile blooming inside her, an ache, a memory, a longing she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. When the ride ended, Lily ran to her, arms open. Mommy, did you see me? I went the fastest. Elise knelt to her level, brushing a strand of hair from Lily's face. You were amazing, she said softly, meaning every word. They spent hours like that, feeding ducks, sharing stories, pretending they were a real family. Lily talked about her school, her favorite color, and how she wanted to be a hero who makes everyone smile. Elise listened, enchanted by the simple joy in her voice. As the sky turned amber, Lily leaned against her side, yawning. Mommy, this was the best day ever. Elise froze again. Somewhere deep inside, something cracked open. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like a CEO. She just felt human. The sky had turned the color of soft honey, the last traces of sunlight dipping behind the skyline. Elise and Lily sat together on a wooden bench near the pond, their reflections rippling in the still water. Lily was half asleep against her arm, her teddy bear tucked securely under her chin. For the first time in years, Elise didn't want the day to end. She looked down at the girl, memorizing the curve of her smile, the innocence that radiated from her small, tired body. If only things could stay this simple. If only loneliness could be cured by one borrowed afternoon. Lily shifted, and as she did, the neckline of her small pink sweater slipped to the side. Something glinted beneath the fading light, something silver, something achingly familiar. Elise's eyes widened. Hanging from Lily's neck was a delicate locket, oval-shaped and faintly tarnished, with a faint scratch on one side, a scratch Elise remembered too well. Her breath caught in her throat. No, it couldn't be. Her pulse quickened, her hands trembling as she reached out before stopping herself. Lily, she said carefully, her voice barely steady. That necklace, where did you get it? Lily blinked sleepily and touched the pendant, smiling. It was Mommy's, she said with a child's simple certainty. Daddy says she wore it all the time. It's my favorite thing in the world. Elise's world tilted. The air around her thickened. Her mother's. Her mind raced backward, years ago, to the day she had given her sister that exact locket for her birthday. A silver pendant with their initials carved inside, E&M, always sisters. It couldn't be a coincidence. Elise swallowed hard, her heart thundering in her chest. Lily, what was your mommy's name? She asked, though she already feared the answer. Mary Ann, Lily said brightly, as if the name didn't carry the weight of a ghost. She went to heaven when I was a baby. Elise felt the world collapse around her. Mary Ann, her younger sister, the one she had pushed away after that terrible argument. The one she had never gotten the chance to forgive. Her throat closed up as tears burned behind her eyes. She looked at Lily again. Really looked, and suddenly she could see it. Mary Ann's smile, Mary Ann's dimple, even the same stubborn curl of hair at the temple. Elise turned away, covering her mouth with a shaking hand. The truth pressed against her chest like a blade. The little girl who had asked her to be her mom for a day, was her niece. Elise sat frozen on the bench, her fingers trembling against the locket that hung around Lily's neck. The park was quieter now, streetlights flickering on one by one, fireflies drifting lazily through the cooling air. The laughter of distant children faded as parents began to lead them home. But Elise couldn't move. Her mind was spinning too fast, trying to reconcile the impossible truth. The necklace, the name, the smile, Mary Ann's daughter, her sister's child, and all this time, she had been sitting here, sharing ice cream and laughter with her own niece, unaware that fate had placed her right in front of the only piece of family she had left. Lily, Elise whispered shakily, brushing a hand through the girl's soft hair. Where's your daddy right now? Lily perked up. He said he's coming soon. He just had to park the car. She swung her legs back and forth, oblivious to the storm brewing in Elise's chest. Minutes later, footsteps crunched on the gravel path behind them. Elise turned instinctively. A man was hurrying toward them, tall, broad-shouldered, a little older than she remembered. He wore a tired expression, his eyes filled with worry until they landed on the little girl. Lily, I told you not to wander off like that, he said, scooping her up. Then his gaze shifted, and froze. Elise. The world seemed to hold its breath. She stood slowly, her voice catching. Ethan. They hadn't seen each other in nearly 7 years, not since Mary Ann's funeral. Not since the guilt and the grief had driven Elise to bury herself in work, building her empire to escape the pain. I didn't know, Elise stammered, her eyes darting between him and Lily. She just came up to me. She asked me to be her mom for a day, and her voice broke. Ethan looked at her for a long moment, understanding dawning in his weary eyes. She's got her mother's heart, he said softly. Always reaching out. Lily tugged at Elise's sleeve. Daddy, did you know Mommy's necklace shines more when the sun goes away? Look. Elise knelt, pulling Lily into her arms. She was right, she whispered, her tears falling freely now. Your mommy's light never really went away. Ethan exhaled slowly, emotion thick in his voice. Maybe it's time we stopped pretending we're alone. Under the gentle glow of the streetlights, Elise held her niece close, realizing that in losing everything, she had somehow found the one thing she'd been missing all along: family.